Welcome to the first episode of 2025, Dad Jitsu. This was supposed to be the last episode of 2024, and then like a weird crossover where we recorded it in 2024 but released it in 2025. And now, finally, third time lucky, we are in 2025, and it's the first episode of 2025. We
niche episode.
Bit of a different format to usual. Steve's collected up all the money that we've made in the Dad Jitsu podcast, which is quite a lot.
Of course.
And he's just flown himself out to the Caribbean.
Sorry,
Why
mate.
not?
I just saw it. I saw it advertised online. I thought, just you've got to live your life, haven't you? You've got to go for these things.
Yeah. Is that what's the word for that? When you just sort of, are you embezzling? Is that it?
I think it's just stealing, isn't it?
Just theft.
Just basic theft.
Standard theft.
I am a basic bitch.
Yeah. So, I mean, to be fair though, if we had to do like a little straw poll of where people think you are, looking at the clouds, I wouldn't have said the Caribbean.
It's not. It's a cloudy day today. I have complained to management, but the message has not been received. Although yesterday was the best day. It was like, nearly got sunstroke day.
Yeah, nice.
That was great. And then, but we did obviously a New Year's Eve gig with the band, the Travelling Hands, which was great. And that was a great day. I know we've got a gig tonight as well. It's on the beach there. They're going to do a beach barbecue.
Oh, good.
It's going to be great.
That sounds amazing.
First time I'm going to be doing a gig in bare feet, I think.
Bare feet?
Yeah. Well, that's
wild.
The current plan. Yeah, it's going to be cool, man. And then get the boat back and then travel back on the 3rd. And back to the cold and the rain.
Yeah, to be fair, today is pretty cold.
Yeah, it's really sunny, right?
Definitely dropped.
Nice.
Yeah, so
it's going to be a shocker.
Yes. So
where were we? We were talking. CJI
we're just going to start again. We're just going to start again.
Oh, let's start again then. Okay.
Yeah. There's no point in it. We tried to do this the other day, and then the computer died, and it was just a clusterfuck. But
we have said this before. We need a young Jamie of our own, don't we? A tech guy.
Yeah, maybe Brian could be that guy. I don't know how techy he is.
I know. Yeah, I think if he is techie, then he's our guy.
Yeah,
he feels definitely. Every other aspect.
Well, look, it might be good to start off with what we've got planned for 2025.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've nailed 11 episodes in 2024.
Yeah, this is 12.
Towards the end of the year. So we'll be shooting for, I reckon, if we could get 45 episodes to 40, between 45 and 50 episodes this year, I'll be well happy with that.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Shoot
for one a week, but leave yourself a bit of an allowance of it not happening.
Yeah, life is life, isn't it? But I think we are definitely we are against the odds, and we so far, touch wood, we are defying the odds, aren't we? The only thing that's scuppered it is your the brown hell that you were in for.
Yes, the illness was the only week that we haven't managed to get out an episode. I guess in this New Year sort of period as well. But we had the Reese's Pieces. The 2 Reese's Pieces episodes, so they kind of plug the hole, and that's a little teaser into kind of what we got planned. Yep. Basically, our goal this year, I don't know how many we'll get, whether it's every week or maybe we'll do once a month or twice a month, is to get round probably the south coast of the UK. Let's not be too delusional, but to get round the UK, mostly south coast, and speak to people within the jiu-jitsu community who have got some experience and knowledge around training as a parent, training as a dad, a mum, training their kids or training kids in jiu-jitsu. And just talking to interesting people from the jiu-jitsu scene who have got some good reflections and feedback and, good information about training juniors and training as a parent. Already spoken to a few names who are sort of signing up, so it's going to be really exciting to get down to their academies, roll with them, maybe learn from them, and then pick their brains about kind of their journey and how they've been interacting with training juniors and training as a parent. And yeah, just bring you some interesting content to put out. And, you know, not just me and Steve just wittering on, it'll be a little bit more dynamic. And yeah, I think it's going to be really good. Really good.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be useful to get their insights, isn't it? Definitely.
Definitely. Yeah. And this is something, when I started training the kids program, I kind of looked around through the sort of podcast space on YouTube and Spotify to sort of, you know, listen to people talking about how they approach it and their kind of methods. And there wasn't that much, which really was one of the main motivators to starting this podcast.
Yeah.
But there's so many people out there who've been running academies for donkey's years, you know, decades, and have got decades of experience from their own experiences training as kids, you know, through judo and jiu-jitsu and things like that. And as well as running their own kids programs. I can't wait to go and sort of pick some people's brains and just see how people are looking at things through a different lens to how we view things. And hopefully that's going to help you guys if you're training your own kids or you're running kids programs in the gyms that you're in. You know, listening to experienced people and the way they approach it is a great way of sort of picking things and trying to apply them in your setting, which is yeah, what I was trying to do and didn't really find much out there.
Yeah, and it's also going to improve our knowledge as coaches, isn't it? You know, it's
100%.
Yeah, it's good to kind of share the love, isn't it? Share the knowledge.
It's mostly a selfish endeavor.
Exactly. Free coaching.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's going to be good. I think it's a good plan for us to put ourselves out there and find out what other people are thinking.
Like we've already started investing. I mean, look, you can see that I've got microphone now, microphone handle. So that's going to be exciting. Passing the mic to someone else.
Yeah,
I can't really do it, but you know.
Oh, we need to get the Dad-Jitsu brand on there.
Yeah, we can get these branded. That's when we're really going to hit the stratosphere of influencerville.
That's it. I think at some point, it's going to be one of those where, you know, presidents and things like that, when they got all the microphones on the pulpit, there'll be a Dad-Jitsu one.
These smell nice, actually.
Yeah, scented as well.
It's kind of a bit of a like sort of cheesy smell.
Okay, like a rehearsal room microphone. So it's been spat in by 1,000 people.
A lacquer, like a weird sort of cheesy lacquer that you might put on a floor.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite intoxicating.
You probably literally are getting intoxicated.
Probably, yeah. I feel it.
Let's see how we end up.
Well, look, one of the things that we want to talk about today was the upcoming CJI 2, not CGI as most people say, but CJI 2, and the change in format and the possible teams that are coming in. Obviously, he's released that it's not going to be the same as last year. What do you make of that? Well, you know, obviously, last year was such great competition, but he's changed the format this year to a quintet style format. Good idea or kind of bad idea? What do you think?
No, I think I don't know. I think it's both. I think it's a good idea because it's, you know, it's going to get the teams involved in the CJI thing, and it's always going to be a controversial thing, and it's going to, you know, make the quintet style thing. It's going to bring that more into the mainstream. It's going to sort of like get everyone talking about the, you know, the new wave stuff and what teams are going to be involved. And it's going to, you know, I'm sure there's going to be loads of like online beef about it. But I don't know. I really liked the last one too. I like the format of the individuals last time. You know, maybe it'll be that in the future after this one, they'll run 2 events, one for individuals and one for teams. That'd be good.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Initially I was a bit like, oh, like it's a shame they're just not repeating the same format.
Yeah.
But then I sort of thought about it and thought it was so good.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that if they just run the same competition again, everyone's going to be comparing it to the first one.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to beat that.
Yeah.
And logistically, like, they kind of have to put on more divisions now, like a smaller man's division, 66, let's say. And they probably need to include women as well, not just in the super fight. So logistically, that makes that quite hard to run. Because it went on for ages anyway, just with 2 divisions where you're only having one match at a time. it could go on bloody all week, and then you are losing the buzz, you're losing the vibe.
Yeah.
So it's actually, I think it's actually quite a genius stroke to switch to the teams kind of format.
Yeah, because you get to see all the stars in action, like you say, in a quicker succession, and it gets everyone talking about the teams and who's going to be pitched against who, and I think it's obviously I'm very excited for it, but I think I would be anyway. But I think it's a good point you say about the long, what was the last one, was like, what was it, 9 hours, something like that, the entire thing. So as you say, that would go on a long time. I think.
I hope that they include women in the team.
Yeah, so do I.
I know that really.
Do you think women's teams or women mixed in a team?
I think there should be a woman in the team.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how that would work, because obviously the format of the team's events is like, if the first person comes out, they could, in theory, be the only person. Like, if they just beat everyone on the other team, then that's it. So there could, if you did have a woman on each team, there is a high possibility of intergender matches.
Yeah, that makes things quite difficult, doesn't it?
Which is a bit unfair, really, isn't it?
Yeah, or maybe just like a women's event, two female teams or a bunch of female teams. Are there as many like big female stars?
There's enough. There's enough females. I think
you could.
I don't know if there's enough. I don't know if there's enough for a whole quintet. No, I mean, there are enough people training for a whole quintet. I think I don't know if you can do 2 quintets, like a men's and a women's one. It's just going to take so long. But what I did think, maybe, I mean, I guess you could have a slew of women's super fights, or you could have a sort of an 8-man bracket just for women. I don't know, but they need to be involved somehow. More than
what else? You know what else you could do? If they could, I don't know. You could have a kids teams.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Get some of the, some of the sort of kids. Man, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
I think if you had unlimited time, that would be sick, wouldn't it?
Or maybe it could run in. Yeah, maybe that'll come for the future. But that'd be cool, especially from our point of view, the dab jitsu thing. The kids watching kids perform on the world stage like that.
It would be amazing. Exciting. Like I tell you, we just went to the ACDC. No, where the ADCC.
Your child is conditioning you, Rob. That's what it is. Just for context, one of Henry's kids is obsessed with ACDC. So I think your brain is just got ACDC running around it.
It's very hard to say the right one at the right time. They are the same letters, just reorganized. Yeah. The ADCC in Bath we were recently at, and I was watching a lot of the kids' matches, and they weren't necessarily technically the best matches, but for excitement they were good, because they were leaving it all out there, and there was a lot of not great jiu-jitsu, but a lot of back and forth, and this person's rolled out a mountain, now they're getting on top and they're escaping the gun, they're going to pass, and it was some of the most exciting matches I watched were just the kids matches, because you just didn't know who was going to win. It was back and forth, and there was a big comeback, and it was oh my god,
well, scrappy.
And the ones who were good as well, it was really exciting. Whereas sometimes adults matches can be a bit cagey, because they're not willing just to leave it all out there. Those kids are fighting on passion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
They're doing it for my dad, and it's they are just going so hard. It's crazy.
The emotions so much closer to the surface, and they're probably old enough to start employing all these complex tactics and possible stalling and this and that, and they're just thinking, I just want to fight. I just want to
it's raw. It's raw. So I think if they could work it out, a week-long CJI festival would be pretty great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, man.
You can have the kids ones for the first few days, women's ones for the next few days, and then finish off with the men's, almost like the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's one for the future. If this does start to really grow and blow up as it is doing, look at the impact of the first one, man. I mean, can you compare that to the impact of the first UFC? I don't think the first UFC was actually massively received, but but then everyone started talking about it. Then UFC 2 was much bigger because loads of people were into it. People are, I think, lots of people were into this already. And I think it's going to hopefully explode the sport, make it more mainstream, like we've said many times on the podcast. And maybe that's the next CJI 3, 4, 5, whatever. Maybe it will just grow and extend, and it's better. It's based on, or it's dependent on how many eyes it gets on it, isn't it? It's an unknown at the moment.
Yeah. I think they've got a lot more money this year, though. He posted a thing up saying they had like 17 million. I think last year they had maybe 5 or something like that.
That bodes well, doesn't it?
Because I was also going to say, like, last year, obviously, the 2 winners got $1 million each. This time, it's teams of 5, and they said the prize is $1 million. But I'm like, is that $1 million split between the team? Because obviously, that's significantly less than last time. Obviously, it's still really good, 200 grand.
Yeah.
Or is it $1 million each? Like, if they've got 17 million, that suggests to me it's probably $1 million each.
Bloody hell!
Which is pretty sick, isn't it?
That is crazy.
Also, imagine this. Let's say New Wave entered and Gordon's their number 1 pick and he's going on first and he just beats everyone.
Yeah.
You might just sit on the sidelines, not ever a step on the mat and win $1 million.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so true. Mate, that's mental.
I mean, you're taking the money, but it wouldn't feel great.
I don't know. Feel pretty good to me. No, but I mean, even if that's not the case, you sit on the sidelines and you're going to walk away with 200 grand. That's like, unprecedented, isn't it?
Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It just feels like we said last time. CJI feels like the future of jiu-jitsu, and I think Craig Jones is a very clever guy. And he knows the route he's taking, and most importantly, he doesn't give a shit. He's ballsy. He makes ballsy moves. The way he dealt with the Seth Daniels death threat was just hilarious. He just put the post up. He was like, well, he's obviously willing to pay hitman rather than pay his athlete.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's hilarious, isn't it? But
he's genuinely.
He recently, I think a few days ago, put up a post with like 8 potential teams and like who they might be in each one, like 5 people in each one. It's pretty exciting. Like,
oh man,
the lineups are. I think he had obviously B Team, New Wave,
Atos,
Pedigo, Atos, Checkmat Alliance,
the 10th Planet as well.
10th Planet. And I'm forgetting one like classic team that's been around for donkey's years. Gracie Baja. Yeah. 8 teams. I mean, and the lineups in like, there's probably about 4 or 5 teams there where you look at it and you think you could win that. Yeah. And then there's 3 who are a little bit lighter, but still really good teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't call it. Everyone's obviously probably going to favor New Wave, but that Atos team was sick.
Yeah, man. Oh, absolutely.
Like,
there's gonna be a lot of like, what the hell fights, and they're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. Either way, it's gonna be amazing. Like either way, it's gonna be shocking. The result.
One thing though, with the what do they call it? Quintet actually had no heel hooks.
Oh right, yeah, okay.
Which does change the game quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because a heel hook is such a leveler. If you're very good at heel hooks, it's such a leveler. Well, there's a few aspects to it actually. It's such a leveler, as we saw last year with the Aussie guy. Sorry, I'm forgetting his name right now. Beating Victor Hugo and Lucas Canard.
The upset, yeah.
But as we've seen a few times on Polaris squads, there have been a few matches where both of them or one of them is sort of pretty much just trying to get into the legs. They've got an almost impassable guard. The top person's trying to kind of pass, and you just end up in this quite boring match. of like them trying to pass, them regarding, they're trying to get on the legs. Some people are very hard to leg lock, and it just sort of ends up in this nothing really happening match. Whereas I think Quintet, even though I do love a heel hook, because they took the heel hooks out, it did actually kind of open things up a little bit.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm not entirely sure why, but everything was just a bit more loose and exciting. So,
yeah. Do you think it's because it makes it a bit more of a spectator sport for people that, I don't know, people that maybe train but they don't train to that level? So because obviously all that stuff with heel hooks is just very, very technical and very on the inside, very kind of, you know, or whether it is just because it, you know, the people are able to kind of be more flamboyant with the moves, and you know what I mean?
I think when heel hooks aren't there, like, people throw caution to the wind a bit more.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. It's because obviously they can be so dangerous, can't they? And maybe. I think it's probably a good idea, you know.
I don't know. I love a heel hook, but I never really understand why people are more willing to risk, because for me, toe holds are way worse. Like, if someone gets me in like a savage toe hold, I'm like, that feels horrible. I have to tap soon. And straight foot pretty fucking bad as well. A heel hook, I feel like I've never had someone really rip on a heel hook to me, so that is maybe that's what it is. But maybe it's because people grab a toe hold and they will rip it on. Like, whereas with a heel hook, people are very much like, oh, I'll just put this on really slowly, you know.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I meant about being dangerous. I think the attacker and the defender are both kind of a bit like hesitant about heel hooks because of the level of damage that can potentially be sustained. Maybe that's it. And people will rip a toe hold on because they're not as demonized in terms of the damage that you take.
Yeah.
Whereas heel hooks obviously are. But yeah, I think it will make it more exciting, and there'll be a lot more of, like you say, people will be throwing more caution to the wind.
I think it's great. I think it's great they're not doing like the super fight thing, super team route as well, and you have to represent your team. I think that's a real nice touch. And that's not been done before properly, really. Like, they've done it a bit, but like on Quintet, there was like a 10th Planet team, but then there was a Polaris team, which was a super team essentially. And IEGA is just all super teams of, you know, people just signing their best players. So I think that's a real nice touch. I think that makes it really interesting, and you'll get really like, you know, passionate support from like Gracie Barha people, Atos people. Like, that would be really cool. I think
it becomes tribal, doesn't it? Because otherwise it's just a super team is a group of individuals who are kind of representing themselves, aren't they? Whereas I think, like you say, a team, it's like team sports, isn't it? Like any team sport where they're like, this is my tribe. You know, that it adds that to it. So then you start the fans of whatever team you prefer. You then become, you know, die hard, you know, win or lose. I think that's really cool. So do you think? I mean, obviously, Craig will be in competing. He'll be a member of the B team.
Nah, I don't reckon he'll do a super. He will? You know, he said he's going to do a super fight. He said he's doing a super fight.
Because I did wonder that. I did wonder whether he's going to be actually in the team. So he's just going to do the super fight. Okay.
Yeah, he said he's like, and he was sort of teasing who that might be. And
I saw that. So. I mean, he was. Yeah, he's obvious. Yeah. Who do you think? Who do you think it's going to be?
I think it'll be like some sort of ex or current UFC star.
Okay.
Yeah, someone interesting.
Someone who's a draw. God, that's a wide pool, isn't it? It's bringing like an MMA, jiu-jitsu savage.
Or it could be like Marcelo Garcia. Because he's competing against Imanari, isn't he, on ONE FC?
Yeah. How old is Garcia these days?
He's got to be in his late 30s to early 40s, I'd say.
Okay. That's still plenty young enough, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I always think about him being quite old. Obviously, where he like retired and then he was coaching, and then he obviously had cancer more recently, and now he's come back.
Yeah.
Jamie, pull that up for me. How old is Marcelo Garcia? Wait there, let me just get Jamie to work.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing it. Okay.
Marcelo Garcia, right. Let's have a look. 41. He's my age.
Whoa. Still young then, baby. Still young.
Still very, very young.
Yeah.
He's slightly older than me, actually. He was born in January, so.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck, he's got loads of, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Obviously.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, he's not going to be, well, Marcelo Garcia can do whatever he wants, but I doubt he would win the competition. Maybe he would. Yeah. Like, that would be incredible, wouldn't it? But he's still got a lot of life in him to, like, have some amazing super fights, probably with some pretty high-level guys. Like, I'm sure he's still one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
If you put him up against Cade or, like, Andrew Tackett, like, they might be able to just outwork him. But he's got actually, like... He's got quite a, he's not like a super like gassy cardio style like game.
No, it's slower, isn't it?
Yeah, so that grabs my attention. Like Marcelo Garcia against the #1 guy in the world. That I'd be like,
yeah, man,
all
sure. Yeah, or even like you say against Andrew Tackett, where like it'd be a styles make fights kind of situation, wouldn't it? God, yeah. He going back to CJI 1. Andrew Tackett was just incredible to watch him.
Yeah, he was.
He really
was like probably my favorite guy in the competition.
Same.
Obviously, Cade won, and I kind of was rooting for Cade, but
same.
If Tackett had won, I wouldn't have been upset about it.
Yeah, I just think he's just such a personality, isn't he? You know, the way he was just checking his hair, the camera. So for a kid, was he 21?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he's just got so much confidence in his jiu-jitsu, and he's just the risky moves that he was pulling off, and he was landing them, and it was so impressive to watch.
Yeah, it really is. It's that crazy confidence, good escapes, and cardio give you.
Yeah, totally.
If you know that you can just keep moving, never stop, and you're never going to get tired, then you can just spaz out of stuff, can't you?
Yeah, 100%. Because I don't know whether you find that. I find that these days, with my being a little bit older, there's times when I could just kind of power out of something, and I've got a little voice in my head saying, but it's gonna cost you a fair bit of energy to do that. Are you sure? Yeah. Like, so there is that question. With guys like him, it's just like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna recover in 2 seconds. Fine, do it. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it's for me. I find it's just how much am I sort of training?
Yeah.
Like if I'm training consistently and I'm putting in those hard rounds, I tend to find the gas tank gets pretty good.
Yeah.
And there's always people that can outwork you, so there is that.
Yeah.
But generally, against most of the people I'm rolling with, I'm not dying too bad.
Yeah.
And there's certain markers, like for me, there's a few people we train with. I'm like, if I can keep up with you for a whole round, I know that I'm in pretty good shape.
I'm doing all right. Yeah. Interestingly, I was chatting to Brad, our cardio machine, purple belt, who's recently come back into the fold from High Rocks, and I was chatting to him the other day, and he was saying, bearing in mind, he was already a gas tank machine before he started doing High Rocks, so his numbers are just through the roof. However, he was saying to me that he still feels now like he's just almost gassing out on the mat, so more than he did, because it's so specific, the type of cardio that you need to use, the energy systems in the way that you use them for jiu-jitsu. So he feels like he's just almost getting back there, if you know what I mean. And there's obviously the conditioning side of it too, the body conditioning, of all the combat side of it, if you like. Just interesting.
I'm not a fan of High Rocks.
Right.
But you are, to be good at High Rocks, you need a really well-developed aerobic system, and you need to have a pretty good anaerobic gas tank too, because you're doing like heavy sled pushes and wall balls and things that are very taxing anaerobically. Like your heart rate is going to be high, your muscular endurance is going to be getting taxed doing those things. So if you are following like a sensibly structured training regime that's getting you ready for a High Rocks, that will have a lot of carryover to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Your systems that you need are going to be well primed for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It is just a case of coming back and readjusting, like getting used to jiu-jitsu again. Like you don't need to change anything physically. It's more like the mental adjustment of like, I'm doing jiu-jitsu now. Like, don't panic. Like, breathe. Like, you know, when you get into a scramble, like have that second, like when you establish a position, just take a few breaths, get back into your nose. Or if you can't get your breathing back into your nose, well, that's okay. Like I'm just breathing through my mouth, but not letting that stress you out. Like, it's probably more like a mental / technical, tactical conditioning that you need to get back, rather than anything physical, because you've probably got the right like physical attributes from doing the high rocks training. It's just those other bits that you can only do on the mats. You know?
No, you're right. And it's the competitive side of it, isn't it? Obviously, when you're doing something like high rocks, you're only against yourself. But I guess when you've got someone coming at you who's trying to shut everything down that you're doing, like you say, it becomes a different thing, doesn't it?
100%. Like high rocks, any physical, any like exercise that you do, you dig in and you go into that like pain cave and you mentally push yourself through it. That's what you have to deal with. That's the mentality, the mindset that you have to deal with. You need to be able to go inside yourself and be like, stop being a fucking pussy. Let's go and just keep going. That is it, isn't it? Really? Whereas
totally,
in jiu-jitsu, it's totally different to that. Like you are literally in a fight or flight situation, and you need to stay calm when someone is putting it on you. And it's not a case of just going into yourself and being like, it's all right, just keep going. It's like, fuck, like I've got to deal with this. I've got to still do all this technical stuff to try and like get ahead of my guy, but like he's really putting it on me, like, and it's that mental like, don't panic, just going and like try and stay calm and try and stay focused and keep my technical stuff going so that I don't just lie there like a fucking starfish. Like, you know, there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more requirement for mental like energy and focus than just like a grinding fucking exercise session.
Aside from form, the technical side of something like high rocks, like you say, just keep going, isn't it? It's very singular in that way. Whereas there's a million doors in jiu-jitsu, isn't there? You know, that are constantly opening and closing. You know, so it's totally. As long as you've got a gas tank and you're doing plenty of aerobic and anaerobic stuff, it's your mind.
It is literally just that tactical decisions. And, you know, someone who just comes back straight onto the mat after a bit of a layoff, they're just going to be slightly off the pace because they're not making the best tactical decisions, which is like causing inefficiency of energy. And then you notice you're gassing more than you previously did. But it's just that you're being inefficient with your utilization of the energy that you've got available.
Decision making, isn't it? I think it's you know, your decision making muscle, if you like, just hasn't been worked. Yeah,
nice.
That's definitely one of the when I roll with you. That's definitely I feel that big difference in decision making. The way you can just switch. It's just that experience you've got. That the different levels of my jiu-jitsu against yours. I can just feel the speed of your decision making is just so much sharper. And it's just that experience of just hard rounds training, putting yourself in that situation where you are cornered. And you're like, oh shit, that isn't working. I've got constant. No, that's not working. Okay, I'll do that. Isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it's just experience, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I rolled with this other. We had an open mat on New Year's Eve, I want to say. And I wrote, there was a new guy there, a few new people there. And so he had all the tatami gear on. And I thought, oh, you know, who knows what level he is. Let's just have a roll with him. And it turned out he was like a, you know, pretty new white belt from a club that doesn't really do a great deal.
Right.
And he was just like, what belt are you at the end? I was just like, it was like, oh my God, like, I could tell, like, every move we made was just like that, and then like this. It was just so like everything was just. Did you use the word just like hand signals? And I was like, right, mate, like,
that sounds like that. It sounds like that Tom Cruise interview when he's talking about Scientology. It's just like, oh, you know. I remember being like that.
Levels. There's levels, isn't it? I'm going to an open mat on Sunday. This Sunday.
Oh yeah.
At Kevin Chan's.
Okay, well, it's that thingy, isn't it? Came on. Yeah.
He invited me and Phil and Jay down there, so we're going to go.
Nice.
And I know that there's a lot of good guys coming down from London that he trains with. And Kevin, apparently, I've never rolled with him, but apparently is like excellent.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Really good. Like, and he's a smaller guy, and he's 52, I think.
Wow.
So there's going to be no like, oh mate, I'm 41, I'm so old.
Yeah. To be fair, he doesn't
smash me.
Yeah, he doesn't look anything like 52, does he?
No, but it's. I tell you what, it's just going to be really good to roll with like some really high level guys, different people. We got high level guys out of gym, which is great. But you get used to rolling with them, and you kind of know their game, and you can kind of
100%
mitigate for the things that they're going to do. And if you're like, right, I want to win this round, you can have a pretty kind of boring round, and sort of, you kind of know what to do to. Maybe sometimes win, sometimes you lose,
but you know the weaknesses to work towards, don't you?
Yeah, but with someone who you don't know what they're going to do, but you just know they're very good, it's like, it's going to be interesting. I'm sure I'm going to have my ass handed to me, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, but those are the rounds where you come out of it a better player, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're just putting yourself in that situation where, who knows, like you've got to figure that out on the spot as well. You've got to figure out what kind of player they are whilst they're coming at you. It's definitely. It's good to put yourself in those situations, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I've got a few competitions coming up at the beginning of this year, so it'll be good to sort of get some more rounds in with different people, different looks. Getting used to going up against someone who you've got no idea what they're going to do, and trying to get your game to work and not get overwhelmed by their game. And that's the whole thing about competition, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Look, I'll tell you what, we're going to call it there.
Okay.
Before anything dies, or
we've done well.
We've done well. First one of 2025. This is probably the lowest quality one we're ever going to do.
Yeah,
but
it's evidence of the fact that we are defying the odds.
We are dedicated podcasters.
Honestly, we really are. We've got to get to that 21 mark.
Dedicated,
and
we
then
will get there to that top 1%.
Yeah, we'll be there, mate.
Yeah, and so really, like, I'm really buzzing about getting out to other people's academies, interviewing people that have got really interesting stories. We've got some juniors as well who are achieving incredible things that we're going to try and get a mic in front of them and talk to them about their story coming up as a junior, being coached, how that was for their journey, and how they got to achieve the incredible things that they're achieving. Lots of exciting stuff. So stick with us on this journey through Dad Jitsu, because it's going to get better and better this year.
Yeah, we've got some good plans.
Yeah, we got some good plans, so it's going to be good. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. There's a button somewhere.
We're still haven't figured out what that button is.
Put the notification thing on. Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like me on Facebook. No, what is it on Facebook? Add me.
Poke me. Is that?
Poke me?
Is that?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think it is still a thing, but it's buried somewhere in the menu, isn't it?
Probably.
The other thing, I don't know whether we are in talks about opening a Spotify account at some point. We just haven't figured it out yet, have we?
That will be at some point. That's a goal for 2025. If nothing else happens this year, we're going to get on Spotify.
Yes, mate. That's the best New Year's resolution for Dad Jitsu, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop drinking. I've always, because it's New Year now. It's not today, obviously. Prosecco with breakfast. When I'm when in the Caribbean.
Very nice.
Yeah.
But you're going to stop drinking this year. Is that an official resolution?
No,
okay. Okay, he's backed out. That lasted for 10 seconds.
Yeah. It was purely to make that joke. No, I'm definitely going to chill out on there. I'm going to back off a little bit. And do you know what? Ever since being here, the food's so nice. It's all laid on. I've never been so full of rich food. I'm probably going to do like a couple of days fast, something when I get back, just to give my body a chance to process all this rich food. But other than that, I think the dad jitsu New Year's resolution. That's that. The Spotify thing's a good one. Have you got any resolutions?
Ah, fuck that noise. I've got a load of I've got a load of goals. Me and the wife sat down. We had a day off without the kids, and we sat down and we kind of laid out some quarterly goals, professionally, personally, DIY around the house.
Okay.
So there's a big long list of things in different areas of our lives that we want to get done by the end of this quarter.
Sounds like you had a PowerPoint presentation to.
It wasn't far
to go along with it.
Wasn't far off. We need a new front door. If anyone wants to donate a new front door to the podcast,
oh, that'd be good.
I would be eternally grateful.
Your Dad Jitsu branded front door. Jeez, that's commitment.
Yeah, the safety of our family.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, you got backdoor issues as well. Well, for your partner.
Also need a new back door. Look, if you don't see me for a while, it's because I'm stuck in my house.
Exactly. I can't leave because
I've got
from a safety point of view, I can't leave.
We've been bricked in, both doors sealed up.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, if I start sort of putting out charity appeals to pay for a front door, then so you know what to do, guys. Just donate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just send me money. I need a new front door. I need a new back door. All the doors need replacing.
Yeah. Share the love, people.
It's going to be a big year. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we've got a door and I can easily access our house. Any final words, Steve?
I think we've covered everything, haven't we? We've covered everything we want to say. No, wonderful. Nothing is coming to me. It's mainly the Prosecco that's stopping me from being able to think of something.
Also, join the Fight Squad Strength Program if you want to upgrade your strength and conditioning this 100%. 2025. Go to my Instagram, click on the link tree. There is a link to sign up. If you want to know more about it, message me on Instagram. Comment on this, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time, guys.
Woo-woo. That was good.